Part 1. The Forgotten Faces. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words, but some pictures were never meant to be seen. Hidden in archives, locked inside metal boxes, there are images that tell a darker story of the world we live in. Photos erased from history books, faces blurred, names removed, because they show a truth too powerful to hide forever. This is lost history, the story of the photographs the world tried to forget. Chapter 1. The Smile Before the Storm. A young couple smiles in front of the Titanic. They had no idea it would be their last picture. Hours later, the ship sank into the freezing Atlantic. The photo was found floating in a suitcase near Newfoundland. The smile on their faces forever frozen before tragedy. Another image shows a crowd cheering under bright banners. It's 1939, Germany. Everyone is raising their hand in salute, except one man. His arms are crossed, his eyes full of defiance. That man disappeared a week later. His name never recorded, but his courage still lives in that one photo. History remembers the powerful. Photos remember the brave. Chapter 2. The Ghosts of War. In the trenches of World War I, a soldier stares straight into the camera. His face is covered in mud and fear. The next day, his entire unit vanished in battle. Only this photograph survived. Another photo shows Hiroshima, seconds after the blast. A shadow burned into concrete, the outline of a man sitting on steps. He was vaporized instantly. Only his shadow remained, forever etched into stone. A woman clutches her baby as planes roar above. She looks calm, almost peaceful. That was the moment before the bomb fell on Nagasaki. Her photograph became the last image of her life. In every war, there are two kinds of soldiers, the ones who fight and the ones who are forgotten. Chapter 3. Behind the Smiles. A black and white photo shows a group of factory workers smiling, but behind them stands a sign that says, Chernobyl, 1986. Hours after the photo was taken, the reactor exploded. Most of those workers died within weeks. Another shows a family having dinner in their backyard. The date on the back reads May 25, 1957, Nevada. They were watching the atomic bomb tests just miles away from their home. The government told them it was safe. They all died young from cancer. Smiles can lie. Photos can't. Chapter 4. When Science Crossed the Line. In a laboratory in 1927, scientists pose proudly beside a young boy. The caption reads, Project E. They were experimenting with human genetics. The boy's name was erased from the files. Another photo shows a group of doctors in white coats. In front of them are rows of infants, orphans from hospitals. They were part of medical trials that were never made public. One haunting picture shows a chimpanzee wearing a spacesuit, his eyes wide with fear. That was Ham, the first living being sent into space by the United States. He survived the mission, but never recovered from the trauma. The price of progress was often paid in silence. Chapter 5. The Lost Voices. A photograph shows a classroom filled with children. Their heads are bowed, their hair cut short. The sign on the wall says, Indian Boarding School, 1905. These children were taken from their families, forced to forget their language, their culture, their names. Many never went home. Their graves still lie behind the school. Another photo shows a line of African American men in chains, working in fields in 1930s Alabama. The caption says, "Prison labor." But these men were never tried for crimes. They were leased out like property, a hidden continuation of slavery. And a final image shows a protester standing alone before tanks in Beijing, 1989. He was called Tank Man. No one knows who he was or where he went, but his courage became immortal in that single frame. Some voices are silenced, but their faces still speak. Chapter 6: Secrets of Power. A meeting room in 1945. 5 men sit around a table with maps and whiskey glasses. One of them was President Truman. The decision on that table would end millions of lives. The atomic bomb drop. The photo was never released until decades later. Another photo shows men in black suits burning documents in a basement. The file box reads MK Ultra, 1953. They were destroying evidence of human experiments done on American citizens. And then a satellite image from the 1960s showing a circular structure deep under Antarctica's ice. NASA labeled it geological formation, but insiders whispered something else. It wasn't made by nature. Every empire hides its ghosts in shadows. Ending: The Forgotten Faces. Each of these photos tells a story, a moment that someone wanted erased. But history doesn't die when it's censored. It hides and waits for someone brave enough to find it. You are looking at the forgotten faces of our past, faces that never stopped watching, faces that whisper the truth even when the world pretends not to hear. This is lost history, and this is only the beginning. Part 2: The Censored Truth. Every history book hides something. Pages torn out, photographs locked away, stories rewritten to protect power. But photographs do not lie. They remember. Today, you will hear about the forbidden images that governments erased, scientists denied, and witnesses were told to forget. Chapter 1: Science and Shadows. A blinding light flashes in the Nevada desert. It was the first nuclear explosion ever captured on film. The photographer who took it vanished days later. Only his melted camera was found. Inside it was a single frame, the first mushroom cloud in human history. Rows of soldiers stand, coughing, their eyes burning. They were told it was a training drill. In truth, it was a chemical gas experiment. That photo stayed classified for decades. A chimpanzee named Ham was strapped inside a steel capsule. He became the first living creature sent to space. People celebrated his flight, but his eyes in the photo show pure fear. He returned alive, but he never smiled again. In another image, a young man receives an injection from 2 CIA scientists wearing dark glasses. The label reads MK Ultra, 1953. The man later said, "I saw colors that don't exist." He disappeared 6 months later. A final picture shows a test pilot beside a strange metallic aircraft. It was taken at Area 51. His face is blurred. His name was deleted from all records. He never came home. Every breakthrough casts a shadow. Human experiments. A prison cell in 1955. 3 inmates sit quietly while needles enter their arms. The warden called it rehabilitation. It was LSD testing. None of them were ever released. A hospital room full of children. Scientists inject their arms with experimental vaccines. The project name was Vaccine Protocol X. In one corner sits a teddy bear to make the children feel safe. Most of them never saw daylight again. A young girl glows faintly under hospital lights. Her body was exposed to radiation. Locals called her the girl who glowed. She survived, but not for long. Inside a mental asylum, words are scratched on the wall. "Help me." No one knows who wrote it, but someone took a picture before it was painted over. A final photo shows a secret laboratory, rows of covered bodies. Every tag reads Test Group B. No names, no records, no witnesses. They were called subjects, but they were human. Final chapter. Legacy of the Forbidden Truth. Every secret begins as an experiment, but once a photograph is taken, the truth can never die. These images remain locked in dusty archives, yet they whisper louder than any book, because history doesn't fade. It waits for someone brave enough to look. This was Lost History, the Censored Truth. Part 3. Shadows of the Forgotten. Every photo tells a story, but some stories whisper from the dark. Images that were buried under ice, sealed in government vaults, or erased from every public archive. These are the photographs that show the other side of history. A truth that was never meant to see daylight. What you are about to hear is not just history. It is what history tried to hide. This is Lost History, Shadows of the Forgotten. Chapter 1. The Lost Expedition. In 1959, 9 Russian hikers went missing in the Ural Mountains. Their camp was found torn open from the inside, bodies scattered across the snow. One photo from their camera shows strange glowing orbs in the sky. The official report said avalanche, but no avalanche tears out eyes and tongues. That image remains unexplained to this day. Another forgotten photo shows a rescue team standing over footprints, bare feet, deep in the snow, miles from civilization. Whatever chased them left no tracks. The film was classified for 30 years. They called it the Dyatlov Pass incident, but the truth never made it home. Chapter 2. The Ghosts Beneath the Sea. A diver's camera reveals a perfect circular shape on the ocean floor. It looked man-made, like a ship or something older. The Baltic Sea anomaly, they called it. When divers returned, their equipment failed, and their speech patterns changed for days. The photos were confiscated by military authorities. Another photo shows a submarine from World War II, found perfectly preserved, its crew still seated in position, as if time stopped. Their watches all froze at the same moment, 02:17 a.m. No one knows why. In the deep, history sleeps, but sometimes it breathes. Chapter 3. The Vanishing Colony. A faded photo taken in 1590 shows a wooden fence, a single word carved into it, Croatoan. That was all that remained of the lost Roanoke colony. Men, women, children, gone without a trace. In 1937, another explorer claimed to find skeletons in a cave and took a single photograph. The film was stolen from his hotel the next day. He disappeared too. No graves, no clues, only one word carved in wood, and a photograph that never should have survived. Chapter 4. The Forbidden Tomb. In 1922, archaeologists entered the tomb of King Tutankhamun. One of them took a photo before removing the first stone. Within months, 6 of them were dead. The photo captured something strange, a faint figure standing behind them. They called it the Curse of the Pharaoh. The newspapers mocked it, but the camera never lies. In the same year, a shipment of artifacts vanished while crossing the Atlantic. When recovered, the captain's log read, "Voices from the hold, lights beneath the deck." That page was the last entry. Even the dead guard their secrets. Chapter 5. The Secret of Flight 914. In 1955, Pan Am Flight 914 took off from New York to Miami. It disappeared mid-air. 37 years later, a photograph surfaced showing the same plane landing in Venezuela, with passengers still alive, still thinking it was 1955. Officials called it a hoax, but the control tower recording proved otherwise. Voices clear and calm, asking, "Where are we? What year is it?" That photo was confiscated the next day. The plane was never seen again. Time sometimes forgets its own rules. Chapter 6. Faces from Another World. In 1947, after the Roswell crash, a photograph was leaked showing a silver disc and 2 bodies under a tarp. The photographer's name was erased from every record. A second image appeared in 1961. 2 Air Force men carrying a metallic crate. Behind them, a strange shadow shape, tall, thin, not human. The photo vanished from the archives within 24 hours. Whether real or fake, these images changed the world's imagination forever. They made us question what alone really means. Chapter 7. The Secret in the Mirror. In 1910, a woman took a photo of her daughter playing piano. When the film was developed, there was a second girl sitting beside her, transparent, smiling. The mother fainted on the spot. Another photograph from 1943 shows soldiers in a destroyed house. In the mirror behind them stands another figure, a soldier with no face. That house was demolished the next day. Sometimes the camera sees what eyes cannot. Chapter 8. The Last Photograph. In 1997, a tourist took a picture of the New York skyline. At the top of the frame, a plane was heading straight toward the Twin Towers. It was dated September 10th, one day before the attacks. The man who took it died the next morning. In 2011, a family took a group photo in Japan. Seconds later, the tsunami struck. The camera was found days later, still holding that final image of calm before destruction.
These final moments remind us the world changes in a blink. Epilogue: Shadows of the Forgotten. Every forbidden photograph is a heartbeat from the past. Each one whispers a truth someone tried to silence. But shadows never die. They wait only for the light to find them again. Maybe that's why we look at old photos, not to remember history, but to feel what it tried to hide. This is lost history. The shadows still watch.